Hey, this is Mary. I just wanted to point out this really crazy game that I'm playing at the moment. The Spain game with Irma Gertis I had to end because I finally, like, everyone figured out she was a Satan worshiper, so everyone started to attack her. And so I had her repent, and because she repented, she stepped down. And because of that, her 50 million children started to fight each other. And while they were fighting each other, that's when the Umayyad Caliphate basically moved in. So I was like, I think I'm done. So I resigned, and I actually got it was a pretty decent score. But anyways, I started this game where I decided I'm gonna try being a little bit more aggressive. I started off in this place right here in Glamorgan, and I just expanded. I took over Wales within 2 generations and formed the Kingdom of Wales. So one of the greatest things that I like about Crusader Kings is that, like, and how I particularly play it, which I know probably drives some people nuts, is that, like, I play with the idea of trying to figure out what I can actually do, because there's so much you can do, and sometimes it's like, okay, well, maybe that's not maybe the best strategy, but it's interesting to see how far you can get with it. Because like I said, the purpose of the game is you focus on your dynasty. You're not focusing so much on how much land you can hold, even though that does help you with your dynasty and keeping it alive. So, one thing, like I mentioned before, is like I kind of like having Jewish enclaves in my kingdom, um, because I have this 21st century mindset where I want multicultural society. I also, I just, I'm fascinated by Jewish history, and I feel like, during this time period, they did kind of get a raw deal, and you kind of do see that when you have so many Jewish workers that come into your kingdom, and they're like really well learned, and you use them as your chancellor and stuff like that. So I always wanted to play like a Jewish king, but the only thing is that like there's only a couple Jewish kingdoms in this game because historically there just wasn't at this time period. One of them is like near Ethiopia, and the other one is like somewhere in Central Asia. I can't remember, or like more like towards the Caucasus. I can't remember the names of the two of them. I tried playing the one in Ethiopia, and I basically got demolished within a generation with holy wars and everything like that. So I was like, well, maybe I'll play really quiet and I'll play it on the down low. Nope, nope. It was really hard. So I Monks and Mystics actually makes it a lot easier for you to make these kingdoms that aren't Catholic or Muslim very easily, or pagan, especially since they have this huge method of uh, like the factions and stuff like that. So I just this is my he's my first Jewish king. And basically, one thing that's really important is when you want to do this, is you got to make sure that you have a large force, you have a decent amount of land, so people kind of think twice before attacking you. They will still attack you. Like for instance, I had won Gloucester through a succession, and so I had it, and it was Anglo-Saxon and everything. Um, as you can see, different culture groups are there, and I had it converted to Judaism at one point. So, but but anyway, she did a holy war on me, and she took it over, and and it was weird because, like, as you can see, she doesn't have that many forces. Okay, so it's like a little high. Why is mine like really low? Well, yeah, like we had the same amount of forces, but for some reason she got like I think she got a bunch of holy warriors to fight in the war. So it was dumb. So I finally was just like, okay, whatever, take it. It's not worth it. But if you click around in my kingdom, as you can see, Karaite is Jewish heresy. And then this is Welsh and Jewish, Welsh and Jewish, Welsh and Catholic. That one got converted at one point. Welsh and Jewish. Most of these are there's a couple that got converted in the meantime, but I'm trying to work on uh, not that happening. So going back in time, how I ended up with doing that, like this is how I did it. So, um, So around, I think it's probably further back even. Nope, I killed him pretty. So with Taliesin the Terrible, probably my longest running king in this dynasty. Um, he gave his spy. It was like his spy master who was Jewish at this time. I think. Let me see. Um, Evram. Yeah. So yeah, he was the spy master. Um, and I gave it to him. I married off one of my um my king's women, one of my relatives to him, and then like he at one point I think I gave him a duchy too. I can't remember why but it's because I won this area and it's a duchy, the Duchy of Leinster. And the kind of the crazy thing about Leinster is I've had it so long that it's no longer part of the Kingdom of Ireland. So the rest of this can form around it, but this is like it's kind of weird because it's like like look at historically Ireland, that's northern or whatever, and then the Protestant. Now we have like a Jewish enclave, even though it's Welsh and Catholic, but there's two religion groups. That's one thing when you introduce new religion groups and different culture groups, you have the revolt goes up. But one thing is that's when you go to technology and you try to have your tolerance levels up a little bit, which it helps tolerance. So so anyways, I kind of developed this little Jewish community, this Jewish like duchy over here, and every time like I had a lot of Jewish advisors that came in at that time. I think they probably heard, they're like, oh dude, there's like a Jewish guy that's running this place in the Herebit in Ireland. Let's go. And I basically married off his children off to those people that came in, and sometimes I'd marry off some of my other relatives. So this is where things get kind of tricky to explain, because this is in Monks and Mystics. You can't do this without the Monks and Mystics downloaded content. It was this guy. So King Ringu, the of Ironside, who died of what did he die of? Oh yeah, that's right. During one of the epidemics that kept on coming through. He had his best friend was at the time the Duke of Leicester. And if you like, that's one thing I think is kind of neat about this game, is because like it's really another reason why it's really hard to have like a Jewish religion centered kingdom, is because like I mean, it's true today. Judaism is not a proselytizing religion. They don't try to get more people to join their religion. Conversely, with Christian religions and Muslim religions, that they're about converting people, and that happens sometimes if you get a Muslim advisor that comes in and they're zealous, they'll try to convert you. But you can have like Jewish advisors who are zealous and they don't bother. However, anyways, like going back to this, which I thought was really interesting, and it kind of goes the historical accuracy of the game tries to do anyway. He became best friends with the Duke of Leicester, and I was like right-clicking on the Duke of Leicester, and it said like convert to his faith or something like that. That only I was trying to figure out when that comes up, when that option pops up, and it looks like it only pops up if you're both friends and you're both at 100 of likes each other. So I was like, I'm curious. It was like you can convert in secret, so I decided, okay, let's convert in secret. And because he converted in secret, I got an option to create a cult, which is where you get the secret societies here. And it doesn't have it here, but so anyways, I created a cult, and one of the options you can do as the founder of the cult is that you can called laying ground, which is like you'd click on a region and you'd right click on this, and then And an option, if you had enough of the points available to you, then you can lay seed, which basically is you start putting all these little secret Jewish communities in there. So I did just that, and with let me go back with this dude, and he also he also converted his children. This is where this guy, he was secretly Jewish, and I was waiting until there was a big kingdom, like where everybody was practically there were secret Jewish communities everywhere, and then I was gonna have them come out as Jewish and everything. But then the plague came and it killed him. So, however, unfortunately, he died before he could convert his son, because you can't convert the children until they're about 6, or no, it's 8. Sorry, 8. You can start indoctrinating them into the faith. So he was like raised grew up Christian, and when he was a kid, because he was still small, and his regent came to him and told him that everybody in the kingdom is secretly Jewish, and now they're no longer going to hide. So he was this Christian king where everybody was Jewish, and there was some like fighting back and forth. That's why some of them got converted back during this time period. So at that point, everybody on his council was Jewish. So I was like, okay, let's try this. So I tried to have him converted. I tried to have him become best friends with one of the Jewish vassals, and that never panned out. So I couldn't convert him that way. So I had no choice. I had no choice but to do with his son. So I had his son, and thanks to the Conclave expansion pack, there's an option where you can it's not heritage. And it's basically you give them to a guardian, and you have them instructed in that culture and faith. So I basically had him do that with one of the Jewish vassals, and so he grew up Jewish and Welsh, and so since he was my first king, and also for some reason like his learning was incredibly high, so I took the religious focus, and he became zealous. And that's where it kind of gets really kind of odd in some ways, because when he came back, his court chaplain obviously hated him, so I had to invite a holy man to court so I could have a court rabbi, and I'm having him basically proselytize, which is, like I said, totally that's not part of the Jewish faith. But I'm trying to basically solidify power as this Welsh Jewish kingdom. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm pretty sure everybody hates me. Yeah. I'm expecting him. That's why I'm kind of proselytizing here. Because I'm trying to get that, but I probably should do this. Form better relations. I also had control of this for a while, but then they took it back from me. Yeah, it's really funny because most people like me. It's just that the infidel thing is a real bummer. Man, how did he get 1,500 troops? But yeah. So, anyways, I just kind of wanted to show that because it's interesting, and if you wanted to have your own Jewish kingdom, that's how I recommend you do it. Is you have to basically find a cult and lay the work in your kingdom, and then hopefully you can turn over. And I don't think this is gonna last too long, but it's fun to think that for a while, Wales, which is one of the oldest Christian settlements in the British Isles. I actually think that they converted to Christianity, before Ireland did, actually. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think so. And they were basically, it was like this Christian kingdom, and these were all pagans. and that was because like of the Roman influence. And then when Rome left the British Isles, Wales became isolated and it kind of did something similar to what happened to the Christian community in Lebanon, where they kind of like were isolated. They isolated themselves, so they kind of formed their own version of Christianity essentially until like they were able to reconnect with Rome. But yeah, so I really do like the Monks and Mystics pack, and I find it really interesting how they really play with religion in it. And but anyways, that's all I have. Now I'm gonna see where this goes.